What's up? So, it is March 21st, 5:14 p.m. I think the last one I did was on March 16th, so it's been a minute. Let me guess. March 16th was a Thursday. So, honestly, weekend's kind of a blur. But we did have a 3-day weekend. Friday ended up going home. What I do? Friday, I just really played Fortnite all day long. I think I stayed up pretty late, probably 10:30, 11 on Thursday night. Didn't get the best sleep. Woke up, played Fortnite all day Friday. Went to bed. I can't remember, honestly, on Friday night. Saturday, again, still kind of a blur. I remember I did go to uh, my brother's Saturday night and did poker night, which was until like midnight, and then I got home probably 1:30 a.m. So didn't go to bed till 1:30. So sleep schedule really thrown off. Really feeling that now. Sunday really just laid in bed most of the day after that because that really hit me Saturday night. Um, yeah, man. Again, this is one of those weekends where just really felt just had to drop the ball in almost every aspect: food, sleep, exercise. We actually, no. On that aspect, me and Devin, we did go to the gym Friday and we hit the sauna. Um, Not the sauna, we hit the steam room for the first time, my first time trying it. It was really weird. Kind of had my nose, when I breathe in through my nose, like I almost had like this uncomfortable, not uncomfortable, but like new sensation, and I couldn't quite tell if like my body was like, hey, what I'm inhaling I don't like, or if it was just, hey, this is new, getting used to this inhaling like steamed air, heavier air. Ultimately, though, we stayed in there a while after doing a pretty good workout. We played some basketball. Got whooped by Devin in one-on-one and horse. So I got to work on my A game. I got to work on my B game. Get that shot dialed in. And we did, I think, pull. May have done push. Can't remember. But good workout Friday. And then we did the same Saturday morning. Woke up like 9 or so. And we went and worked out that morning about 10, I believe. So, all in all, at least on the exercise side, stayed pretty diligent. Sleep side, eat side, kind of hit the crap the bed on that. Um, but we pick ourselves back up, keep going. It's about that consistency, right? 6 days of the week you do well, 5 days of the week you do well, 4 days of the week you do well. Majority of them, is the goal. But sometimes you fall down and you realize you see yourself slacking off, or you see yourself not being as diligent, and you have to get back on it. You have to remind yourself, do those daily things that will keep you dialed in. And I think that's a skill, that's a trait, that's a strength that is grown almost like a muscle, right? Like maybe at the start you can go for 3 days and then you go off and you have to recorrect after 4 days of slacking off. The next time it's 4 days of going strong and then you slack off for 3 days and you recorrect. Next time it's 5 days. Next time it's like I said, that wax and wane, building that muscle of consistency and optimizing your day to day, your week to week, your month to month, your year to year, right? Um, these people we see that we idolize, the Olympics, the Olympic athletes, the NBA players, the Joe Rogans, the David Goggins. These people, they wasn't overnight. They developed these abilities to stay consistent and have that discipline. That discipline, that mental toughness. Toughness, right? Toughness is something you build. It isn't something you're born with. So, building my mental toughness, building my mental discipline that will allow me to go longer periods of time, and also building in those beliefs of this isn't a sacrifice, this is a sacrifice, but this is a willing sacrifice that I'm making in order to get what I truly want, right? I can sacrifice the Sour Patch, I can sacrifice the fried food, I can sacrifice the staying up till midnight to game, and it's not necessarily I'm losing that aspect of it, but in the broader scheme of things, I'm gaining the other aspect of it, right? I'm losing the staying up that extra 3 hours to play Fortnite, but let's be honest, you feel shitty the next day, you feel groggy, your quality of gameplay, even if you were just to look at it purely gameplay perspective, that gameplay is probably going to fall off in terms of efficiency, capacity, success in that activity, right? So even if I was thinking it on a purely like I want to be really good at Fortnite, it's well, let's go to bed at 8, or let's calm down at 8, read until 9, let my body transition into that sleeping phase, get that deeper sleep, which then provides the recovery period necessary for my body to then perform optimally the next day or consistently the next day. And so I can get those dubs on Fortnite, I can get those dubs in the gym, I can get those dubs at work, because what I'm doing is sustainable. It's regenerative. And so I do find myself getting down on myself, right? Sometimes it is tough. That's one thing about accountability, right? Is ultimately you are being held accountable by someone. And, someone like Devin, he's awesome in the sense that he's very trustworthy in that you can trust him to hold you accountable. But that also, means you have to be real with yourself. I have to be real with myself. And sometimes that's very uncomfortable. That's very, I feel guilt, or I feel, bad in moments. And again, that shouldn't, my goal is to come to the point where it's more of a natural, like the consequence of going, the consequence of, I want to do it out of one, love for myself and my health and my life. But having that other side of fear of, losing my health, losing my life, losing my, losing friends, right? Because ultimately mental discipline goes into everything. It goes into your work, it goes into your play, it goes into your relationships. So, being accountable to someone, yes, there is the chance that you mess up and you fail, and they move on. They held that boundary and you broke that boundary, and they move on. And that's the consequence. But that's part of life, right? Life is like waves, and there's the highs and the lows. But the thing about waves is they never stop, right? So, and if there wasn't waves, say you were just, floating at the same level, right? There's no fun in that, right? One of, I don't know who says it, but one of the basic needs, one of the fundamental needs of humans is variety. And that's what that wave is, right? There's the wave of life, of, I build this relationship, I'm getting close with this person, I share moments of vulnerability, which then leads to moments of, greater closeness, greater joy, greater rejoicing for one another. But then there's that downside to it, right? When someone suffers, someone takes a loss that you're close to, you feel that. And as uncomfortable as that is, it's worth it, because those highs and lows are part of life. And without those highs and lows, it wouldn't be life, and it wouldn't be worth living, because you would just be in this stagnant, like depressed state almost, because there is no highs and lows. Or maybe in those states, I think a lot of people get into those states, and that's why you see the uptick of drug abuse, addiction, suicide. That's just one of the factors, right? There's many. I think that's one of the things contributing to that, is people are so afraid to live for whatever reason, And so they think sitting in the stagnant state of like not really building relationships, not really building themselves, not really building, helping others build themselves, not being accountable. I think Jordan Peterson talks about it as like, you do nothing because you can't fail when you do nothing. But in reality, you're failing all the time because you're failing to do anything, which then, so you convince yourself that you're not failing by not acting. But in the real sense, eventually you have to wake up and realize that because you're doing nothing, you're not succeeding at anything. So what's the opposite of succeeding? You're failing at everything because you're not trying anything. You're not living. So, rough weekend. There were some highs, there's some lows. I had my birthday the other day. That was really good. Stayed with my family in the evening. Had dinner. Went to Winco at like midnight. Got some not root beer floats, but Oreo shakes with my brother. And so, building those relationships. So there's pros and cons to everything, right? It's really the balance of priorities and seeing and what you want your outcome to be, essentially. So, diet wasn't great. Sleep wasn't great. Exercise was better. And so we're going to go forward today. Today I did okay. Took my supplements, had a protein shake, stayed away from Sour Patch. There were many times today where I walked out of the workroom, just like my mind seeking something, my mind seeking that dopamine hit, seeking that Sour Patch in the break room, seeking that energy drink in the fridge. All of these things are free to me, so I have to, in those moments, remind myself, I'll literally be reaching into the jar or opening up the fridge and just looking at it for a second and then reminding myself, what is my priority? What is my end goal? And that gives me the strength to walk back into the workroom and continue to work. So I'll just leave it there for today. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow.